Greetings, campers. It's another blazing hot day here at Camp One Clap on the One Clap Speech and Debate podcast. I'm your camp director, Lyle Wiley, and today, on day 18 of camp, Counselor Ella Goodman and Counselor Zcherina Villegas have returned to share part 3 of their 4-part series, Croc Hiking with Easy Platform. We'll be getting even more fire oratory and info hacks from our croc-loving counselors today. Don't forget to check out the One Clap socials for today's social media challenge topic. Also, keep studying your ABCs of debate with Professor Graham and Kevin's new episodes that are released daily and have gone absolutely viral on YouTube. Or if they haven't yet, they definitely will be. All right, campers, strap up your hiking Crocs, fill your water bottle. Make sure you have some One Clap stickers on your water bottle, by the way. Get your wide-brimmed hat, strap on your hot pink fanny pack. Let's go hit the trail and do some croc hiking with Easy Platform, episode 3. All right, we're back with the croc hikers. It's croc hiking with the Easy Platformers. Easy stands for Ella and Zcherina, our amazing platformers. Welcome back to One Clap and Camp One Clap. So, I got to ask, what's your favorite camp animal?
First. Yes. Like we discussed last time, I have not done a lot of camping. The few camping experiences I've had have not been the best. But if I were going to go camping again, I would bring my dog. So I have to say my dog is my favorite camp animal.
I didn't expect you to say fish, but you never know. After last week, it doesn't seem like you like fish much, but yeah. What about you, Zcherina?
Yeah, I haven't been camping a lot, but I remember this one time when my family and I went to Yellowstone, we saw like a bunch of like prairie dogs like just jumping out of holes, and I was like, that's really funny. And every time I think of camping, especially here in Wyoming, I just think of prairie dogs. So I think maybe prairie dogs. So
all right, hey.
I just think that they're really funny. I don't know why.
It's not a bad reason. They're funny. So hey, they're fun to have at camp. We want to continue to get to know both of you. Let's get into some profound big picture stuff. So what do you think is the best part of speech and debate?
I don't know. There's a lot of really great things about speech. I think first and foremost, just like the platform it gives young people to just amplify their voices and talk about what they want to talk about. I think it's really cool to just, be able to tell people, especially like in your community, this is what you need to care about and like this is why. I just think that's a really incredible opportunity to have that not many other like clubs or activities provide. So I really love that about speech. But I also just think like the sense of community that it gives you is great. Like I've met some of like my best friends like ever in speech. And so I'm just really thankful to, have been able to go on all these like trips with them and make all these memories with them.
Sweet. What about you, Zcherina? What do you think?
Honestly, I'd say the same thing. My favorite part about speech is the community, just the people you meet. Like in any other club, in any other place, you would never, ever find the type of people that you find in speech. At least that's what I think. Like I've met some of the most amazing people. I've met people like Ella, and they really just like, I don't know, if without the community that speech has, I would not be the person that I am today. And without their endless support and everything like that, it's just, I don't know. I just really love that part about speech.
Community is pretty special, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, from sentimental directly to platform, let's get some more platform ideas out there. Zcherina, you get to go first today. What is one smart tip that you'd like to share for this episode about original oratory?
Okay, so I know that original oratory is called original oratory, but when we're talking about it, we have to really think about how your oratory has to be authentic. So more like authentic oratory, basically. And when we're thinking about this, we're gonna break this down into like 2 parts. So voice and speech pattern. So first of all, one of the most amazing things about platform is that like this is a speech that you write, like not your mom, not your coach, not that random person on the street, nobody. It's just your voice. And so you have to make sure it sounds like you. And like this can be done with like extra commentary you add in your speech, like just like little tidbits, I don't know, extra parts of like your personality that you would put in your speech, which is like a really big thing. Like if you don't have your own personality, then it's not going to sound like a speech that people want to hear. You're just going to sound like a fact spinning machine, you know? Like, don't say anything that you feel like is not your true authentic self. Like, even if a coach says that you should say something and you really don't want to say it, then don't. Like, it's your speech. You have to own it and make it your own. And most of the time, like, judges can tell when you're putting up a front and not really saying what you want to do because you aren't performing it to the best of your ability, you know? And you're just saying things to say them. But going on with that, another thing with giving a speech over and over all the time, every single weekend, you have to really watch for your speech pattern. I know this is really big in platform. Like, there's this speech voice that people have where they'll just have the specific pattern in their voice and they won't like fluctuate any patterns in their voice or anything like that. And they'll basically just sound like a robot. So when you're giving your speech, especially so often, you have to try not to be repetitive and have a static like pattern in your voice. Like, you have to remember that you're talking to the audience and not at them, like having a conversation with them that sounds like a little more intellectual than you would in real life, you know, not at them. Like, you're not teaching the class, you're really engaging with them and getting them to think. And then, like, I know people tend to do this a lot. So a tip that I would have to change up your speech pattern is like, try and change the way you end and start your speeches. So then it sounds a little more like you're talking like an actual human and not AI, you know?
I like that AO, authentic oratory, as opposed to original. Yeah, that's good. Great tips. Also stuff that I've definitely noticed in some performers, fallen into some cadences and patterns that are that are difficult to break out of. I think some of that has to do with memorization too. Like, they're just like, sometimes folks are just struggling to remember, and so they just fall into these patterns. But yeah, a lot of that's just practice. I think that's some good advice. What about you, Ella? What do you got for us today? What's a info tidbit that you'd like to share out?
Okay, so this time I'm going to talk all about VAs because I don't know, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions about them. First of all, I think if you have like a picture of something on your VAs, try not to reveal it until you've talked about it. Because if you like, change whatever your VAs are doing and then there's just this random picture, people are going to be wondering what that is if you haven't like explained it to them yet. So I think timing with VAs is really important, just making sure what you're saying lines up with what you're showing to the audience. Another thing with pictures on VAs, I think that you should keep like things on them, especially the words on them, very minimal, because sometimes I'll be around and somebody will have like a kind of lengthy definition of a word or like just a bunch of pictures in like a tiny space and it kind of looks crammed, and then you're kind of focusing more on what's on their VAs than what they're actually saying. So I think kind of keeping things simple is a good way to go. And then also with VAs, you can have like the coolest, fanciest VAs in the entire world, but they're not going to make up for a weak speech. So I think that before you make your VAs, I think you really just need to make sure that your speech can stand on its own, because no VAs are going to make up for a speech that is lacking in certain areas, because your VAs are there to amplify your speech, not like be the whole thing. And then just one last thing about VAs, there are not really that many rules or like limits on them in the NSDA. And I think a lot of people, poster boards are like easy and like more cost effective sometimes way to do things, but there are not really many limits. And so I think that in the next few years, people might start changing up what they're doing. And so I think it's good to, just kind of have an open mind and try to be creative about what you're doing, because really you just can't have like technology or living things. Like, there are so many possibilities with it that haven't even been thought of yet. So I think, just trying to be creative with it is really good.
Great. That's VAs are tricky. So I think that's some really good advice. Sometimes they do become more important than the speech itself for folks, and you don't want that to happen. So I think that's, and I also would agree, like, oh my gosh, when someone puts something on a visual aid that they haven't talked about, even if it's intriguing and like kind of makes your audience like wonder, sometimes that means they're not listening to the speaker. So you want to be careful that what you're showing doesn't like take people away from what it is that you're saying. So I think that's like excellent advice. I think I just want to kind of go back to the community stuff you all were both talking about earlier and just apply it to you two. So did you two meet because of speech and debate? Is your friendship a speech and debate friendship? Are you friends?
Kind of.
Are you
Yeah.
two friends?
No.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I misread this
just-
completely.
I
My bad.
kidnapped her. Yeah. That's why she's here.
I think, well, we had like our freshman year, it was like COVID. The end of our 8th grade year was when like quarantine happened, school stopped, but 2020, 2021 school year was our freshman year, and we had like 4 classes first semester and then 4 classes second semester. So we had 1 class together first semester, and I remember I would always think Zcherina had like the coolest outfits, but I was so scared to talk to her because she would be like, I don't know, she was kind of emo and she had like really big eyeliner and like fishnet tights. I thought she looked really cool, but I also thought she looked really scary. And so I would always be too scared to like go up to her and say anything. But then I remember on Wednesdays, she would come in an ROTC uniform, which kind of confused me because I was like, she's emo, so I didn't expect her to be in ROTC. But I don't know. Then second semester, we had more classes together. You can expand from there.
And then, so I think, besides Ella trashing me for being in ROTC for 1 semester.
No, I just it was surprising. I did not expect it.
Okay. So after first semester happened, we like talked like this one class like right before winter break, and I think like something clicked, and then we happened to have like an English class together second semester, and then we sat next to each other, and then we started talking, becoming closer friends. And then like during like districts and other tournaments, like even though I wouldn't be competing in those bigger tournaments, but Ella was, I'd be like there for like moral support and be like I don't know, making funny faces in the corner or something like that to make sure that she laughs in her speech about her own jokes. Yeah. And then since then we've just been friends. Yeah.
Going off of Zcherina making funny faces in the corner, I remember one time I was recording my speech, and Viney has a video of it. I'm just saying my speech, and Zcherina's just like dancing around in the background, so I'll like remember to smile while I'm talking.
Well, I'm glad that the speech debate helped blossom your friendship. It's or else we wouldn't have the Croc hiking with the easy platformers. So some helpful stuff. We'll tune in next time to find out about your snack preferences, which is always really important to me. And we'll get some more tips for how to pitch your platformer tent to perfection with the easy platformers. Thank you so much to camp counselors Ella Goodman and Zcherina Villegas of Easy Platform for sharing some smart platform moves with us on a Croc hike here at Camp One Clap. They'll return for more Croc hiking in their final episode next Friday. Tomorrow is yet another thrilling day at camp. We'll be at the campfire whipping up some Saturday supplemental s'mores with NSDA expository finalist Counselor Solomon Henderson. Also, Professor Graham and Kevin's ABCs of Debate shall continue to produce fire content until the end of days, or at least until the end of the month. Remember, social media challenges are live for every day of camp this August. I sure love seeing everyone's posts. It's super cool to hear from all of you out there. Oh, and by the way, did you know why bears always travel so light? Well, they only ever bring the bare necessities. For Camp One Clap, this is Camp Director Wiley, signing off.